on the number of
We had
wells?
9 wells and 4 towers.
9?
9 wells.
9 wells.
We have 3.5 million gallons of water in storage. Enduro's a 1 million gallon tank. Clay Street's a 1 million gallon tank. Crestview's a 500,000 gallon tank, and South Bend's a million. So we have approximately 3.5 million gallons of stored water that everybody uses on a daily basis. And fire protection. Can't forget fire protection.
I'd have that. Well, we have to wait one more minute for these people that are tuning in.
Both of them.
Yeah, both of them. I wouldn't even know where to tune in. Thought about that the other day. I said, oh, I'll go watch this thing online. Our council meeting, that's what it
Is
was.
it on demand?
Yeah, you gotta sign up.
Spectrum's got it on demand in case you
Cost
really
you-
wanna watch it again.
Costs you $2 a month if you want that channel. All right, let's get this thing started. You ready? All right. Like to call the meeting of the Board of Public Works, City of Washington, Tuesday, June 24th, 7:30 a.m. Call it to order. Roll call.
John Vidmar,
Here?
Brad Mitchell,
Here.
Mike Radetick,
Here?
Steve Richardson. This would have been his last meeting, so he didn't, I guess, have to show up. Al Berg,
Here.
Joe Holtmeyer, Steve Struberg,
Here.
Austin Harskamp.
Here.
Stand for the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. Welcome, everyone. First order of business is to welcome our new full-fledged voting member of the board, Steve Struberg. Welcome, Steve.
Thank you.
Go from one side to the other. You can listen to the same stuff, but you can say aye.
Get to say aye now.
Say something about it.
Steve Richardson's term was up, and he decided to move on, so his last meeting was last month, actually, and the council wished him well and got a proclamation from the mayor last week, so. Okay, moving on, priority items. Everybody have a chance to look at the minutes? Any questions, comments, changes?
Motion to approve.
Motion?
Second.
And a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes approved, thank you. Okay, Kevin, you're up.
All right. The Terrace Sewer Extension, which was really, this is a sewer line that was part of the Meadow Lake agreement from when, Darren, 69 or something like that? It's been a long time. But they would eventually be, but anyway, 70, and early, whatever, anyway, long time to put it that way. These were the last of the group that was to be brought into the city when city services were made available.
Oh, you're talking about annexation.
Yeah.
Annexation was 61.
Yeah, 61, so that long ago. But anyway, so this was the last part of it. We went out for bids for this project. It was KJU and Lamke. KJU was a low bid on it. Both of them had a rock exclusion on them. That is a rock hillside, a mountain. We knew they was gonna hit rock, just didn't know how much. So the project is done. The sewer line is installed. 2 residents have currently been hooked up. There's 2 more that need to be hooked up that are working on it. They're working with a local plumber to do that. So this is a request to make payment to KJU in the amount of $52,829.66 to close that out.
All right, and the new part of that was the extra work that was.
The extra rock,
assigned.
and when we went out and did our initial plan on it, there was a mismeasurement of some kind. I'm not sure exactly how, or it could have been the rock, but they had to go a little bit deeper, so they had to buy a couple extra structure pieces to bring the manhole up to elevation. So it's a combination of rock and some extra structures. So,
And it's recommended?
It is
The
recommended.
work's complete, so,
Work's
okay.
complete, they did a good job. Everything's flowing the way it is, and it was inspected, everything looks good, so.
I move we pay it.
Any other discussion? A motion to pay KJU $52,829.66. All in favor?
Aye.
I think you need a second.
A second.
Second.
Who seconded it? There you go. We got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you. Send it on to council for approval and payment. Okay. Today we're spending money, aren't we? Oh, you want to summarize this new vehicle? We got a lot of documentation.
Yeah, a lot of paperwork, yeah. Yeah, this is a new crane truck that we need in the wastewater department, the collection side. We'll use it for a lot of things, but mainly wastewater collections. As we improve our pumps in our lift stations, the pump sizes have gotten bigger and heavier. Our current crane that we have is too small to pick the pumps up, so we have to call somebody in to come and pick the pumps up for us. This is a budgeted item. We had planned on purchasing a bigger truck this year anyway. It just got to the point where we need it now. So it went out for bids, went to the main two providers, which was Broadway Ford, Truck Fleet, and Knapide, who works with Don Brown Chevrolet. And we got our proposals. We had put, at the time when we put it in the budget, was when everything was just so rocky, and the rumor was truck prices were gonna go out the roof, so we put $250,000 in the budget, planning to see something crazy. Come to find out, it didn't go as crazy as we thought, and it's coming in at $179,433, so,
Well, that's good news.
yeah. So it'll be a Chevy crane truck instead of a Ford crane truck, but Ford, as you can see, was $194, so, Don Brown Chevrolet won the bid. So I'm asking for your approval to move forward with it. I brought Kerry here if you wanted to ask him any questions on why we need the truck, and he'd be more than happy to let you know.
I believe you.
Because you need it, right?
Yeah, so that's that on the truck. Pretty much just a lot of paperwork to get down to that little bit, but
So the staff recommendation is Don Brown for
Yes.
$179,433.
yeah.
Any more discussion?
Motion to approve.
Motion
Second.
and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Send that on to council and get that baby ordered. All right. Treatment plant HVAC with, let's see, who is
Level
that?
9.
Level 9, looks
Level
like
9 got this bid.
they
Yes.
got the bid. And any more do we need to know about that, Kevin?
Well, it's a situation where we're gonna see more of these. The plant is 16 years old now, and all of our HVAC equipment has become obsolete. So we Band-Aided it as long as we can with the companies, whether it's Level 9 or Crystal or Durrell, trying to find parts out there to keep it running. We got to the point where we can't find parts anymore, so we have to replace the whole unit. This is one of 4 that will have to be replaced. So they're being budgeted in the budget, upcoming budget, and we'll replace them as they go out. That's all we can do. There's no sense going in and replacing them all. We run them until they need to be replaced. And
This one's currently out?
this one's currently out, and this one is one of our most important ones. This one actually cools the, what they call the MCC room, which is the Master Control Center for all the VFDs and everything that runs the Headworks building.
Yeah.
And the disk aerators and everything, so it's pretty important. Right now, they've got like 5 box fans and they're trying to keep air circulating.
Keep it cool.
Yeah, to keep it cool enough. Been struggling the last few days, but everything's still working, so, yes. So that's what's up with this.
Questions?
How much was budgeted?
Motion?
And this one here, I budgeted 40,000, I think, for this one, and it's coming in at 25. The next ones, I'm budgeting a little bit more because I was informed by the HVAC guys that, with the current tariff wars that are going on, or whatever we wanna call them, we can expect a 25 to 30% increase on HVAC equipment.
I guess we have no time frame to know when the others will go out.
No, I mean, we can start replacing them, so I have one in the budget for next year, which is, this.
I mean, do we save, I guess my question is there enough of a savings to be had if you bought them all now and replaced them all now versus,
No, because this quote that we have here, they honored this quote before, the tariffs have already hit. So they honored this quote because we had started it before it all happened, but anything moving now will have that increase on it. So there's nothing, we can't go out and like buy a whole bunch of them, have them sitting because it's already hit. It's just a matter of doing them. So I have next year budgeted for, we have two things, we have different pieces of equipment up there. We have, and we have makeup air and we have conditioning air. So there's a makeup unit in the same building that has to be replaced too. So that's, I've already got that together. As soon as next year's budget's approved, we'll move on to that to try and avoid any other increases that might be floating around that we don't know about. So it's just a race now, so. Hopefully they go the opposite direction and we don't have to worry about it, but we'll see. But tariffs have taken an effect. I talked to Danny Flynn from Flynn Drilling, who does all of our well work and all of our maintenance stuff and everything, and he let me know that on the electrical side for wells, there's a 15% increase on electric, meaning motors, wiring, controls, it's all hitting that same thing. So we're gonna start seeing the increases, and we're just gonna have to deal with them. Do the best we can with going out for bids and trying to find the best bid, lowest and best, the lowest or best, however you wanna say it, so.
And based on the budget, with the things that you, we just went through the budget for this and for the vehicles, so we're under the estimates at this
Yeah.
point, for this year.
For
so-
this year's estimates, yes,
For this
we're
year,
under,
so-
so. But, and
Good shape.
I'll be meeting with Darren tomorrow on the budget, so we should be able to have something close to being ironed out that I can bring something to you guys next month so you can review what we're working on. So, for next year's budget.
Questions, comments? Motion,
I'll move, pay it.
moved and seconded.
Second.
Let's see, all in favor for the $25,908 proposal from Level 9?
Aye.
aye,
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Order it up, send it to the council. And professional services for the Walnut Street Lift Station. We've talked about this quite a bit, so
Yes, we
we're
have.
moving on.
So we finally got to the point where we are going to bring in Cochran to help us with doing an evaluation of our situation. We know what our situation is, but it's always better to have a third party come in and give us some more information. So we've got Dave here with Cochran if we need if you want to talk about anything. So what they're gonna do is they're gonna come in, we're gonna work with them. We're gonna get our pumping information out of Walnut Street and West End. We're gonna throw that together and come up with a plan of attack, I guess I should say, in a sense, so.
So this is continuing that discussion we had last month on the whole line from downtown to the
Yes, yes.
to the treatment plant. We gotta make it flow before we can improve anything on the west side.
Well, that's what this is all about, is to see if we can come up with what is the best plan for the future for the Front Street situation. So, there's theories out there. My theory is we improve the force main. We may look at it and we may come up with, well, if we can put a retention, some kind of a bigger tank around the Walnut Street lift station that can maintain some of it, maybe we do that. It's just, we're at that point where we need to actually go out and evaluate and see what we've got, and then we know what path we can go down, rather than, just saying this is what we're gonna do and it may not work. It's
So this is looking at the whole situation.
Yes.
That's good. That's good.
yes.
Comments, questions? This is recommended by the staff,
Yes, it is.
and the proposed price is $16,920.
Yes.
Do we have a motion to proceed?
So moved.
Motion, second?
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. We will move ahead, send that to the council so we can move ahead, and that will probably be a long-term,
Yes, that will be,
Project.
that will be a long drawn out project, yes.
can we get the results next month? Probably not.
No,
Okay, keep going, buddy.
You pull it right out of your sleeve. Here it is. Okay,
but we will get started on it and see what we come up with.
wow. A lot of activity in
A
wastewater.
lot in wastewater. Wastewater's been pretty quiet here lately, but it's not now.
How about water? Let's
Uh,
move.
Water, Front Street project, we're about a week out. When the guys got down to the section they're working on now, they found that our sewer line, that you think would be in a straight line, is not. So it bowed way out and got into where we was gonna put the water line, so they had to come out and move around and go out around the sewer line. So, yeah, so kind of changed direction. We kind of held off a little bit the last few days to work down it because it's so hot. So we're doing some other stuff that we needed to be kind of catching up on until it cools off. So hopefully hopefully tomorrow or Thursday, we can get back down there and get started. But it gets pretty hot when you're in a ditch. And
Right.
I know other people do it, but, we've got other things we can do. And
This is discretionary right now, so,
Yep. So
yeah.
the safety warnings are out there from our emergency management director, so gotta follow them, so.
Okay,
The other thing is, we are down now 2 advisory members for that side of the table. So if anybody has anybody that they're thinking about, please let us know.
yeah. We got one.
Perfect.
We just moved one.
Need another, yes. Yes, need another, so. Terms are all caught up now. John, yours is the next one in June of next year.
Yeah,
And everybody moves a year down the road every June with that, besides the council members who are in April, so,
that's right.
yeah.
Okay.
But I think you guys, Teresa, did you send a list out to these guys what their term limits are? If not, we can send one out to you guys so you can see where you're at, and,
I have I can go make copies before I leave. I have my copy, but
that's fine. That's fine, yeah, do that.
Dan, do you have anything else on that Walnut Street project to share with us, or?
I think Kevin laid it out pretty well. So the goal will be to come in, make sure we have a good understanding of what the existing situation is. Obviously, I believe the driver on this project is some of what's been being experienced down on Front Street with some of the different buildings and businesses. Try to make sure we understand under what conditions that happens, where we see the backups, and then try to come up with a plan that best limits the opportunity or the chance of that happening more in the future. I think Kevin's obviously been looking at this for a long time, and he's been watching this happen for, a lot of his career, so he's got a very good understanding of what's going on down there. So obviously pulling all that out of him and understanding what he knows will be important. But I think in the proposal, we lay out a couple different things to look at. Increasing the size of the force main that runs from the west side of town over east to your treatment plant. I think that's a kind of an obvious thing that we need to look at, and that would allow the Walnut Street lift station to pump more. If we can pump more, that reduces the opportunity for backups down along Front Street. As part of that, we need to make sure we don't just move the problem. If we're pumping at a higher rate, that means we're sending more waste into your collection system on the east side of town. We don't want to cause backups where we discharge the new force main. So that needs to be examined. Along with when we put the bigger force main in, do we also need bigger pumps? So we'll look at the hydraulics of how all the force main, the pumps play together. And then also just is there an opportunity to provide some storage at the lift station? Now obviously with where the lift station's located, that could be kind of a sensitive area. We wouldn't want to do anything where we're going to have odor problems down on the riverfront. Sometimes when we store wastewater, we could end up with odor issues, so that's something we'll certainly want to look into. And all of these alternatives that I'm talking about, it really comes down to us just gaining a better understanding of what kind of flow rates we're talking about. How many gallons per minute under worst case scenario are coming to that lift station. And all these things I've laid out, we would put cost estimates to all of them and then present some recommendations to the city staff, committees and boards, and hopefully develop a project that you can start working towards that alleviates the issues that you're having on Front Street. That would be the goal of this project, and it kind of lays out the plan for, what's actually going to be built to help alleviate the problems you're having.
What's the estimate on the amount of time it takes you guys to do that kind of stuff?
I certainly think, I would like to have a good plan in place by the end of the year.
Okay.
I don't know if that's acceptable to this committee or not. If we need to move faster, maybe, I think 3 to 6 months would be a good timeline to look at in that frame. Maybe in 3 months, kind of be coming back with some preliminary information, maybe get some more guidance and direction, and then finalize it towards the end of the year.
So, money-wise, is this something that, I know you can just pull something out of the air, but is this something that you're gonna consider in the budget? Knowing that we're working ahead for this? Of course, what year it's gonna take place?
Well, that's the thing, we could throw money in the budget and say, yeah, we've got money in the budget, but we don't really have even a good idea of what to throw at the budget. That's what this is for. It's gonna be I could throw a number out there, but there's no sense in it because we really don't know. It's not gonna be cheap, let's just put it that way.
And it more than likely wouldn't
And
be in
it's
next year's.
probably not gonna match our revenues coming in
Right.
to do that. That's all things we have to look at. But until we get some good, solid numbers, I don't wanna really start wasting time and spending money, or to even just thinking about throwing numbers out there, because then somebody will remember that number, and then when we come back with it, then it's like, well, you said it was gonna be this, so
Yeah, no, we don't.
yeah, I don't even wanna go down that path, so I'd rather wait until we get the information and then have a discussion at that point in time.
Yeah. So Dan, well, you've already said it. You want to see what the bigger picture is, but I know, last month we talked about even the possibility of another plant on the west side of town. I guess that's something you need to look into with your whole investigation, right?
I think that can kind of be a high level review. I think that would certainly be a more in-depth analysis than what we've presented to you here. I think the focus of the analysis that we've provided to you would be improving the Walnut Street lift station and continuing to send flows to your existing plant.
Okay.
And maybe the outcome of this study that we do would be you would see the recommendations and the cost of those recommendations, and then I could see you saying, well, let's look at other options, and then maybe this second plant idea would be an item to look at there.
Okay. Any questions for Dan? Thanks.
But thanks to this committee for the opportunity to keep working for you guys, and look forward to working on the project.
Thank you.
Okay, great. Thanks for being here.
Forward to it too.
While we're talking Front Street, Kevin, we still have, I know we had to collapse underneath the south rails
Yes.
a year and a half ago. Have we talked with UP? Is there any plan to do the other portion of that at some point, or?
There is, we're working through one part with the railroad first to get that completed before we start on the next part. Railroad's really interesting to work with,
I understand.
so I think you get too many irons in the fire, it
Yeah.
may muddy the railroad tracks a little bit, so.
I can give you a little bit of, so our insurance company is working with UP. They gave us a claim for the damages as a result of the collapse that we had, and I think it was somewhere around 80-some thousand, 80+ thousand. We have asked for a breakdown of that to determine what stuff could be negotiated out of that. And so we're working with our insurance company on that, and our attorney's looking at what's that breakdown, what could we negotiate that down a little bit, possibly, we'll see.
And that's for the southbound, or I'm sorry, the south side tracks, I'll say.
Right.
East westbound, but I guess what I'm asking is there any plan to replace the north side of that we can get ahead of it so we don't have
Yes.
all of
we've-
that expense?
We've talked, I've asked Kevin to go ahead and reach out to UP and see what would be, letting them know, hey, excuse me, this has to be replaced. We want to do as minimal amount of disruption to you, but we're aware of it, and how could we go ahead and do that?
Okay.
So, again, as Kevin said, it's a little, dealing with UP on some of these matters can be a little bit different.
They're very quick in response.
It depends on what they want, yeah. They
Yeah,
want
so,
something-
so the goal there is to set a manhole on the south side of the tracks where it makes a turn and goes underneath the tracks, there's no manhole there. Set a manhole there, then we could slip line that line.
Gotcha.
And that would give us structural support to hold it up. But to do that, you have to work with the local area engineer, which I've already talked to him. From him, then it has to go to real estate, then it has to go to engineering planning, then it has to, so I figure we'll get the first problem taken care of, and then I'll dig deep, I'll dive into starting to go down that path of the rabbit hole of the UP, trying to get it done. So, yeah, that's the goal. So hopefully by next year, we're saying that, hey, it's all done and we got the manhole and we slip lined it, but it's UP, so.
Gotcha.
They know there's a problem. Right now, there's not a big hole in the track, so I don't know if they're gonna say, oh my God, that's the biggest thing we gotta worry about right now. I don't
Our
know.
biggest concern was just making sure that they knew.
Yeah.
Right.
We knew that there's a problem and it
Yeah.
needs to be fixed so that we don't run into, all of a sudden it happens
Yeah.
and.
Yeah, so that's kind of that in a nutshell right there. So there is a plan in place, we're just working through it,
Thanks.
try and get it done, so.
Okay. Any other business, any old business, anything we're forgetting that we should talk about today? I guess not. All right. Our next meeting is scheduled for July 22nd. With that, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor to adjourn?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you all very much.
Okay.
Welcome aboard.
Been a while.
This side.
My name in the minutes too much.
What's up? What's made is, I came to the council meeting last Monday, and I'm sitting out there, and they're going through the meeting, and, you know, all in favor, aye, and I'm sitting there. I almost said aye.
Al, thank you. Austin, thanks.
Thank you, thank you.
Haven't seen you on the porch lately.
I thought I was
See you around the block.
Oh, longer than me.
I looked for you last night when
I was gonna quit.
our record-setting council meeting. We had a 3-minute meeting last night.
Hey, Austin.
Wow.
16 years?
Yeah.
What's the date today? 24th?
Okay, thanks. Let's see, 26. Gee, if I could hang on 3 more years, I could make 20. You get a pin for that?
Get you vested in the retirement.